Alright, so welcome to Dreadnought Redux Part 31. So last time I got quite a bit of work done on these stern rooms. I was starting to work on this paint store area and finish up this boatswain store. And after that I've got that final compartment, and then I have to ask myself a question. Do I want to paint these compartment by compartment? Or do I want to wait till everything has all its photo etch and then start the painting? See, that's a really big question. Because on the one hand, yeah, I mean, it might be easier to do everything, prime everything at once and all that. But on the other hand, it just looks, I don't know, it makes things look, like it makes your progress look better, I think. If you're doing it one thing at a time. Plus, gets you equal practice with all the skills involved, So, let's see, though, if this episode this week I can't at least get this compartment finished well off enough, and if not, maybe even partially painted. Okay, I better get started then, because that's a tall order. And I actually managed to pull that off. So here I am. I'm in this part of the compartment now. I'm folding up a couple pieces, putting together another shelf. So I found that with the newer photo etch bits and having further developed my skills as well as gotten the right super glue for this job, I've actually been able to make much more refined shelves. I actually able to do that double shelf thing that you just saw. Along with that, I'm also better able to attach the photo etch, so there's less of a glue pool under it. And yeah, so I'm just making shelves to put in this room that ends up being the paint store. Trying to keep kind of quiet because it's the middle of the night when I'm putting the finishing touches on this audio here. So that's that room now done. Now we're at the bottom of the boat and gonna start detailing that. So there's a bunch of side storage points for that that I end up putting some shelves in just to make it kind of look the part. Fold, and cutting all that. So yeah, it looks like I'm actually kind of run out of photo etching at some point, and I'll need to make more. I actually have I still got the mask and everything. It's just going to be interesting to see if I should make that tool I was thinking of making. The idea is that I want to try to more evenly put these masks, the photoresist on. So that means I want to kind of roll it on better to these pieces of sheet metal. So as you can see, again, what I do is I take the piece that I'm attaching to the either to the boat or to another piece, and I put it in just that tiny bit of super glue. And what that lets me do is that's a high tack super glue, so it'll actually it's like stickier, it'll stick in one place better. So I can use a much smaller amount, doesn't wick at anything, doesn't go anywhere, it's just one place, one point of contact, and it is working a lot better. I was also using in conjunction the really thin glue for if I needed to make a really strong joint, I try to wick it into the joint. But what ended up happening is I took the I tried to clean off with the razor that little super glue applicator that I got, and it just snapped, which is just it does not make me happy. Grumble. Anyways, there I go. Again, putting more. I also put in the bit boxes as bins into the rooms where the torpedo magazines would have been, or I guess torpedo head magazine or something. And what I tried to do here, that little thing I just cut up was that last the 3D printed boiler, hoping that I use those supports as rudder shafts. I ended up just making some squares out of putty to make that happen. So yeah, there I am merrily. Yep, there I go, folding it along, and I cut out a little bit and then roll it out and change the camera angle again and watch as the camera shifts a little bit, just I guess to get me in view or something. So there I try making my own shafts, and it doesn't quite work right. Alrighty, so I think at the end of the last set of videos I just about got this thing wrapped up. So now maybe I'll put in another person or two, maybe a box or two in a few key places, but I think this is the point Actually, I think there's some stores left. Did I miss those? Yeah, I think I did. Yep, some stores left. So, alright, I guess I put some shelving in or something in the right places. That'll be these last two up here and here. And then, well, slip some people in that bottom compartment. Let's see, any other compartments need more people in them? Yeah, maybe one more compartment could use a person, like, right in one place or another. Alright, so yeah, that will just about make it right, and then I'll go ahead and get to painting. Maybe we can actually have a readied up compartment to show off before the end of the week. We'll see. Alright. Let's get cracking. And as I mentioned earlier, a cracking we got. So now I'm cutting out some more bits of the photo etch. I've got a nice angle here, kind of show you close up how that's done. I've been using that, something fell out of my pocket. Anyways, I've been using the tweezers consistently to do my folding, and I've been using the what I made previously designed as kind of boxes at that scale, you know, to make those shell bins if it's upside down, or you know, a powder box if it's right side up kind of deal. And that's been really useful to me for not just making shelving units, but also little bits of machinery. Alright, not sure if I'm totally in the shot, but the model's a bit more important to show. So, this and this are just about the same level with each other. Just barely kissing the top of this thing. Okay, that doesn't sound like a problem at first, but veterans of the channel will remember that I actually pointed out why this is a problem some time ago. There we go. Hey, if this sits on top of that and doesn't really sit in its deck, it's not really going to look like the boat's properly fitted together, is it? Now, I suppose what I could do is just take all this first set of decks, lay it out somewhere like in a display, and say, oh hey, this is a deck of the boat. Probably the best idea. Here's the interesting bit. So, this doesn't quite sit. This was just barely fitting in before I did all the little bits. This, well, this, again, this fits in now. Didn't really fit in so much. Well, this doesn't fit in now. It does just match the deck, just match the deck. These, the ones down there, don't. This is really one of those things where it's like, what do I do? How do I sort this thing out? Because magnets are only going to get me so far here. Magnets are only going to go so far. You know, the best thing I can do is remove those two and then just keep going. But that really doesn't sit so good with me, because then I can't fit everything in there. There's like two of them are off now, which is rather annoying. I suppose I could try sanding this down, but that's not really going to go good. I guess some of the good news, though, is that at least this is all happening here and not on the Bismarck. But this makes me wonder, what am I going to have to do to make sure that that doesn't happen? I mean, I'll be able to build in more clearance for the Bismarck just because of its size. You see, it's gonna, you know, it's, for one thing, its dimensions are probably going to be closer to scale in terms of armor thickness, etc., just for the hull, because, you know, 1/200 is a bit easier to, you know, justify a millimeter or 2 or 3 millimeters thick versus 1/700. Which, yeah, if you had that thick for a 1/700 model, you're really being crazy. Still crazy for 1/200, but not as crazy. It's like only double the thickness versus like 10 times that much. So, Again, though, neither here nor there, I guess. So, what do? I think the best thing for me to do would be to, if I don't take these two decks out when everything goes fully together. Oops, a daisy. Oh dear. Oh no, we're good. We're good. We're good. This gun is built to fall apart like that, so you can see the inside of the gun house. Derp. Yeah, we'll be doing that painting later on. Goody. Alright. So, yeah. This is one of those, like, what do I do? Because, like, you can see it. You can see the gap. Now, I can try to... I have one trick up my sleeve. Just one trick. Can I hide that? Can I pull a dirty trick out of my hat? Let's see. Okay. I could make a little fake extension of the boat hull itself that goes up. Fills in some of the gap, which I wanted to do anyway. That's the best thing for me to do. I mean, if I want it to all fit in here. Alternatively, I could just try to shave about 1 millimeter off of all of these, but yeah, that's going to lead to problems, not going to lie. Plus, I tried to make a more clearance thing over here, didn't really go so good. And I'm a bit far to try that now. So, yeah, let's either risk further messing with the boat's outline and shape. I mean, I can do it. I can do it. It's not like I can't. I have the skills. I know how to do this. And actually, it would, except, you know, it wouldn't be bad at all for me to do it that way, because it would, in fact, work. I just have to get some strips of the right width. And then secure them to this hull. And then, you know, do it that way. Which, again, it would work. It would work. And it would make things blend in a lot better. Huh. I either leave these two out when it's on display and have these stored somewhere safe, or I tweak the boat further than I ever meant to. Decisions. Well, we don't do these things because they're easy, we do them because they're hard. But let's do something easy first. Let's get this painted, shall we? Painting, I said. Easy, I said. No, it is, there are difficulties in the painting, namely in getting the airbrush to work. So, yeah, I think it's either here, no, it's not here, somewhere else that I needed to do a lot of cleaning to it. But yeah, there I go. The first thing I do is I prime all of these and try to get as many angles as I can. That actually might be an appropriate thing to build another tool for, come to think of it. Like a little turntable that I can just turn on for the purposes of spraying. That would actually be really helpful. I might just do that. That might be a thing I can 3D print once I get a good enclosure on my printer. Yeah, the reason for the enclosure on that, I know, I'm talking about my printer and not what I'm doing upstream, but I'm just, cleaning the brush after priming everything. So there I go. Now I've primed it and I start masking, cutting the mask appropriately so that I can paint certain areas with their base coats without painting over other areas and making those base coats, kind of overlap or whatnot inappropriately. Anyways, you'll notice I also don't pay much attention to the that back stern end area. That's because I'm still pretty sure what I'm going to do is put a magnet to hold the decks down. And I might go the easy route, I know, I'm a bad boy, of taking the deck and taking like one of the boat's decks and laying it like somewhere on a display and saying something to the effect of, this is a deck of the boat. You know, that might be a neat way to do it. Or maybe have it so you could have all of them displayed if you'd wanted. I'll think of something, I'm sure. Alright, so yeah, there's that. And now I start mixing up paint and making my own shade of green, or he's trying to, for this set of decks. I ended up mixing some parts of yellow with parts of green to try to get something a little closer to what I thought I saw in that photo that time ago. And there I go. Now I'm just spraying over the areas of the decks that are gonna be green. And again, since I'm washing the brush, yeah. So long and short of the 3D printer is it warps if the prints are big enough. So I want to use an enclosure to prevent that warping. All right, here we go to a slow motion segment. All right. Not sure if I'm completely in the shot here. So, yeah. Now, painting all these rooms exacerbates my conundrum of how exactly do I handle this whole internal deck situation? Because now I've got 2 compartments that are doing it. Honestly, I'm thinking that extension bit might be the best way, and the reason I say that is that way I could fully detail these at that point. Just call it good. Potentially. Then again, the ability to clip on both ends is pretty darn handy. Decisions, and I'm going to keep agonizing over them until I make them, and I'm going to still agonize over them. Make up your darn mind, Rich. Okay, so try to create a green color this time. It was a little better. Next time for the Bismarck, I'm going to see if I can't find like a better sea green or something that would go on the inside. If I can find color pictures or something, that'd be great. That'd be a good thing too. But other than that, yeah. So I've got these rooms that I'm gonna do these in a light blue. This I'm gonna do in like a wood color, I think. And these I was actually gonna do just in like that silver machine metal color to make it, you know, kind of apparent that this is sort of submerged kind of deal. Make it look like, you know, there's just because, you know, leakage from the rudder and whatnot that's contained in that bulkhead kind of deal. Before finally starting to play with this machinery here and then tweaking what all this stuff is. Alright, yeah, and of course wanted to leave this bare so I can make it blue to represent the water and the fresh water tanks. Alrighty. Okay, back to painting. Let's see how far we get. Alright, all the more painting. Yep, here I'm doing yet another coat with the airbrush. The idea being that now that I've got the coats for the you know, green areas, if you will, I can coat other areas different colors. So I figured that that'd be appropriate, considering the purposes of some of the rooms would be different than others, like, you know, blue for the bathroom, stuff like that. Alright. Alright, so as you can see, the shop's kind of a mess. And being honest, I'm not sure it's really laid out all that good. The solution here is obvious. Probably going to want to clean the shop up a bit. That'll probably fix some of my issues. Alright, well, let's do it then. And here I am just merrily cleaning up the whole shop. So, yep, pretty much what I did is all those organizers you see over there, I grabbed a relatively clear set of shelving that was in my basement, and I shoved it to the other side of my shop, and I put these organizers on either that shelf or onto the like the desk I have itself. This will give me a wider area to work with. It'll give me some ability to, you know, get more things done. But yeah, I did this part because, as you can see there. All right, now we're back to painting. Goody goody. All right, now yeah, it's a little So as you see, here's the new shop setup, and I'm finding this is working a lot better, except for certain camera angle shots. So nothing is perfect, I guess. So here is that blue that I had, and I figured I'd try how, blue do we get with the bathroom section. And I found I didn't like that dark blue, so I ended up adding a lot of white to it. I didn't do this scientifically, so I can't tell you the number of parts, sorry. But I just kind of went until it was like a sort of a sky blue almost, and then I started painting that, and that's how I got this bathroom that color. After that, I wash out the brush, and clean it out. Somewhere during all this, I may or may not have had to hit it with the ultrasonic cleaner. But there we go, there's the parts. So I did put dark blue on one of those deliberately. That was where the fresh water tanks were. So now I believe what happened next is I started highlighting the waves in the water tank, or I started just doing some touch-up work. I guess I did some touch-up work, which is important. Unfortunately, the shade of green I'm using for touch-up is a bit darker than the shade that I have otherwise, but that happens. Alright, hey, looks like this is actually the end of the kind of last time lapse section, and we're essentially going to watch as I paint this entire thing. So I threw in some officers. You'll see me in a moment, besides painting that prisoner, also painting the prison bars and everything else. So yeah, I found a good small brush, and I was able to use white paint to paint all the toilets. And then after getting all the toilets painted, I took a really fine tip brush. You might see this angle here a bit. And what I end up doing is dotting, creating little, here. So here's where I add the waves first to that water. I did that with dry brushing. You just put a little bit of the paint on the brush, and so it's barely leaving any mark, and you rub it over stuff, and then you run it over all the highlights. And that leaves this kind of rough highlighted effect. It's not blending, but it's, it does add a color, to high points easily. Then I added a wash I'd made with some darker blue and maybe a little black, and just to get into those crevices. And later I add some more dry brushing highlights to the water. As you can see, I'm doing more touch-up with the brush, making sure that I've got the not just all the insides of the little rooms painted, but also the guys painted. So I am painting officers, painting seamen, using the bathroom, painting the prisoner. I actually add little stripes to him. I add little, black and white stripes. He's a prisoner. Going along from that, I add the gold bars as well to that officer. And one day I just got curious. I just wondered, okay, hold up. People keep complaining of lack of representation or something. So I look, and apparently there were actually African British officers, like of African descent. So I figured I'd vary the head color of these little people a little bit, just to, not too much, try to reflect the percentage, but just to reflect that was a thing. I figured, pull up and, pull people up and punch up rather than kick down, I guess. Anyways, during that little tirade, you saw me use the brush to paint all those bars, to paint the toilets. I'm not sure if I painted the toilet center bits yet, but then I'd painted also the things in the boatswain store, the ladder there, as well as the wood planks that I created. I just created those with plastic strips. And there we go. Now I'm adding little bits of to the interior walls just to make sure things are going appropriately. Let's see, what's the paint doing there? Okay, I think now I'm painting walls. So I've been painting the walls gray and whatnot to just differentiate them from the deck. There we go. So there I go. Paint hatches gray as well. And after handling all that, eventually I add a couple people later, but for the most part we've got a good amount here to at least cover. But there I go. I add the paint to various things, do some touch-up work, try to even out the paint as required to, you know, even have the color be kind of even if possible. I don't do it to that back stern section because, again, I plan on using magnets there. Yeah. Alright. And after that bit, I'm wondering when I start doing the next decks. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on just evening out the paint jobs, making sure guys were appropriately painted. I think there is a part where I'll actually tweak that little center silver blob in this deck with the bathroom in it. That was the electric capstan motor, so I figured I should go ahead and try to make something that looks like machinery from that time. So there we go. Now I'm just listening to something on my phone while I spray paint the thing. And this is where I found out that, hey, this thing needed a cleaning. So I was like, all right, let's go ahead, take this thing, try to clean it out, figure out that I don't need to remove that O-ring to throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. And then I just dunk it in isopropyl alcohol for half an hour. And that seems to have fixed all of its little cleaning problems. So I think this is the next deck down from that one with the water tanks. Yep, that is. So as you can see, I'm starting to add paint the walls, get that right. Next I'll be painting the various shelving units and various bits of equipment. So yeah, it takes a while to do all those, especially at the small scale. So not just is it a small brush, but also you'll see that I end up wetting the paint a lot. I don't have a wet palette. Maybe I should get one or make one. But yeah, considering it's a small brush, and these are acrylics, by the way. Big thing I have noticed is that acrylics dry way too fast. I mean, I've heard of this thing called wet blending. I could never do it. I think glazing is another technique where you just layer on super thin layers of the acrylic, let the super thin layers dry, and use gradation in this, that to do the job. So, but yeah, that's not really the purvey of this model just yet. I might try some later, but probably not quite a big enough scale to really weather anything, But there I go, and hey, look at that. It's clean. It's ready to go. So I put my alcohol back into the bottle, and then I proceed to continue reassembling this thing after wiping it all down. So yeah, that's about how I give this airbrush a deep cleaning. Is I chuck it in a cheap ultrasonic cleaner, and I in alcohol, pretty much gets rid of everything. And then after I reassemble it, I just lube it up like you're supposed to with cars, tools, people, ... You can just imagine the places where lube would be appreciated. Okay, I better stop now or I'm going to get kicked off YouTube. So there I go, painting the last section of the boat for airbrushing. And this time, because I just had to ultrasonic clean it, I make it a point to very carefully clean the airbrush this time, which is probably what led to it being stuck in the first place. So there I go, and now I take off all that extra masking tape. I grab a bunch of paintbrushes and just check the angle of the camera before finally painting things over. Doing bits of touch-up here and there before painting the tables and shelves in the reading room a different color. And then, as you can see, I've kind of zoomed into everybody. This is actually a really good shot. I'm going to have to come back here, maybe use this as like the title shot or something. But anyways, yeah, again, as I edit these, as I record them, I'm using the editor to do the recording. It works out for me pretty well this way. But going right along, is this thing still even recording? I hope it is. Good, it is. The screen went out on me, sorry. I'm sure I've said this maybe once before. Wow, we're over 10 minutes, and we still got a ways to go. Okay, so now you see me painting people separately and then adding them into position. And that was something I thought to do during this, because that way I could try to fully paint up my little photo etched guys and use, you know, the fact that I can get full access to everything. Yep, there we go, accidental shot of the CA glue. But there I go, now I added some final people, and I think it really brings more life to the model to add little people doing stuff, you know. Kind of fills in blank spaces, makes things look more lively and more like an actual boat. So that's kind of the last thing I do here over the next few minutes is adding people, painting, you know, little errors over, and yeah, overall just that little bit of tweaking. Although I also do a couple little things that I'll mention now. One of them is these tweezers start deciding to contribute to the attrition issue I have with photo etch by I'm holding a little photo etch guy and it goes tink and flies away. So I got fed up with that, and I don't think I really had much for problems after I took this took that brush and took the tweezers and did exactly this, running through them with a file to get those edges to better line up, and that seems to resolve the issue. Why did my computer screen go blank? Bugger. Okay, well that's gonna be, there we go. Okay, we're back. We're back, man. I don't think we even lost any playback data. Yeah, there's a little bit, you learn when doing this, I guess. That's just, oh yeah, now click here to check for new versions, what it showed me on the screen. Like, really? I'm using the software. Bother me next time. Anyway, so here you go, you got all the sections here, and I'm just trying to paint up the little guys and glue them into the right position using just a teensy bit of the new glue, and it's working really well. Then I started trying to add stripes to all the guys that need them, or I think it's just about everybody. And then after adding these stripes, I end up doing lots and lots of little cleanup work just to make things, well, more accurate and not messy. Alright, this is the part where I end off the vid. This is probably the longest audio recording I've done on this channel. So yeah, no, that's actually pretty cool, I think. Hopefully y'all enjoyed, and we got a few seconds. Just yeah, sorry I didn't jump in as much of the camera angles this time, but I was more concentrating on the modeling than the filming. Alright, peace out, and here's the ending. Alright, so it looks like I got this compartment done in about a week when it took time to finally detail it. So there's your bottom deck with the with some storerooms as well as the magazines for torpedoes. Here's, I guess, the hand steering room and steering gear room or something. These two silver things are the rudder shaft. I'm gonna put them in there just to, add that little detail. This room is blank, but there is a stern torpedo tube here. I'm leaving that blank along with all these that stern area blank because I'm still pondering how exactly I put the magnet in there. And when I put the magnet in there, I'm going to need the space to do that, so I'm not going to be able to complete these rooms. Other than that, up above that, we've got, actually, is this room. That's the order it should go in. And we got the 2 freshwater tanks. I guess this is the boatswain store. Got a guy climbing out of there. And then I got a paint store here. And then there's, that's a torpedo hatch and for the storm torpedo tube, I guess. And those are caps for the rudders. Then I got, these is the mess for the seaman's mess, I guess. This is a reading room. That was also a paint store. And then up here I've got the jails, some bathrooms for the officers, and then just the general bathroom for all the regular enlisted guys. Alrighty, so that is that. And now, for a bit of ceremony, you could say. Plop. I drop the next one in with just my fingers. Be a little gentler. Yes, I can. Wiggly wiggly. 3. And 4. And you'll notice this is just kissing. So I've got a bit of a decision to make here, because now I got 2 decks that do this. 2 decks on this boat now that do this. I had this guy over here and that guy over there, despite the fact that I took it down a notch. One thing I can do is just not put either of these in there. Like maybe have in my display case an area for, this is what a deck of the boat looked like, and then have all the rest inside. I do that, then yeah, I can do that. That's okay. But then not everything's in the boat. The other thing I could do is try to extend the hull a little bit more. Then I actually get the benefit of detailing this as well, but probably not so much. So yeah, I've got that choice to make. Other than that, I think this is coming along pretty good. So, I'm rich. It's been a good week I think. I got that set of compartments done. So I'm gonna go ahead and now I'm just time with the regular YouTube dance of like, share, subscribe, hooray! Alright, peace out, and see you next time.